Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Delivery Whiz. We're out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Monday, March 25th. Out here in the Pacific time zone. Anyhow, this is Vegas Gig Life Vlog episode 24. And in this episode, we are going to recap our weekend in Lyft that we had. Lyft, until the end of July, I believe, has a $100 quest every week. If you have an EV, you get $100 extra if you do 50 rides. And also this past weekend, they popped one up where they gave $185 for 50 rides as well, which stack on top of the other one. So they have that one broke down into two stages. The first is to 30 rides, you get 65. And for the next 20, you get 100. So I apologize. It's 165, not 185. So there's the two bonuses. The regular one for 50 rides for 100 for having an EV. And then there was 50 that stacks on top of that for 165, which you didn't have to do both tiers. It was broke down into two tiers. And I said that before. They have it where you do 0 to 30 rides, you get 65, and then 0 to 20. The second stage, you get 100. But if you're going to do 30, you might as well do the other 20. The bad news is 50 rides from Friday morning at 5 a.m. to Monday morning at 5 a.m. can be a little bit hectic. You can do the math yourself and see how many you have to average per day. Anyhow, this is our totals right up here. And you can see from our totals, we booked 346 miles, 16 hours, 56 rides, for the whole week. It wasn't just the weekend, but I did the majority of this on the weekend. I only had maybe 4 or 5 rides heading into Friday, and then I did the majority of it. Like Saturday, I did 29 rides on Saturday and 9+ hours. I'm not going to give you the full breakdown of that. You'll just have to take my word for it. And then on Sunday, we did 10 rides. So 29 and 10, and then the rest were prior to that. Some on Friday and then a couple during the week before that. You don't need the complete breakdown, but you can see we didn't have a bad week. For 16 hours, $737.17. If you do all the math, and my math breaks down to $35 an hour, that's pretty good, okay? Like I said, I did the majority of it on Saturday. I set area filters out here in the valley. I am not going down by the strip. Yes, I did 3 rides that I voluntarily took that were on the map as rides available that were out of the zone just because it got slow for a minute. But those rides I got quickly off the strip, and the rest was, and I've said this before about Lyft or Uber, I try to stay, and I do stay away from the strip as much as possible. Like with Lyft, the area filter is a little bit more robust, I feel, than Uber. I choose an area of like 9 miles, and I go from Centennial Hills down to Rhodes Ranch. And that is the area I cover out here when I do rideshare, just because the strip is still kind of constructed. It's busy on the weekends, and that is when you really want to do the rideshare, even in the outskirts area, because that's when it's busiest, and then you'll get the bonus points for the levels that Lyft and Uber have, you know, silver, platinum, gold, or however it's silver, gold, platinum, and above, diamond on Uber or whatever. You know what I'm saying. So in the busier times, you get more points for that. And so I'm trying to get the platinum on Lyft now. I'm about 300 points away, which is $300. I should be able to do that this weekend. But you can see, for the time spent and $35 an hour, it was a very advantageous weekend for me. And you could have that too. But the advantage I may have over anybody watching this video is I have an EV. So I'm getting that. And that's not going to last forever. Lyft is going to take that away at some point, which will suck, because I think they should just leave that in. Because if you do buy an EV and you use it, you should maybe get rewarded over not using a combustion car. Just this guy's opinion. Whether you disagree or agree with that, we don't need to talk about that now. Or you can leave comments below and let me know, hey, Wiz, I feel that you shouldn't. Or maybe, hey, Wiz, I feel that you should. Anyhow, that's going to end at the end of July. And then for a while, I didn't do any Lyft because they weren't giving me any ride streaks or any weekend bonuses. But the last 2 weekends, I have driven Lyft. And mostly, and importantly, they're offering quests of 20 rides, 30 rides was last weekend's. This weekend's was 50 rides for a much bigger bonus. And maybe that's because March Madness was going on and they wanted to keep drivers encouraged to be out there to give rides if people were traveling around up and down the strip. But again, I have area filter on, and that's all I did Saturday. I used it. I had 2, and then I hit gold, and it gave me an extra one, so I used 3 area filters in that 9-hour period because they last roughly about 2.5 hours or so. I forget what Lyft is exactly, but you could look for yourself. It's a little bit longer, I feel, than Uber. So, yes, if you're in a city and you don't feel like going to a certain spot, by all means, use those area filters. And they also have location ones if you want to be someplace at a certain time and you're trying to Uber or Lyft there to make a few bucks, they'll get you there. Or like a specific spot like my home, and then they give you on Lyft wide, narrow, or large, medium, and small. And, depending on your needs at the time or your time frame, you choose. But it's pretty nice. If you can make that kind of money on Lyft every week, I would be doing it on the weekends, no problem at all. 16 hours a week for an extra $7.50, we're going to call it. I'm just going to round because I'm not going to go to the exact penny, so it's not necessary. Anyhow, that kind of money for that type of hours and the miles, 350 miles, I mean, that's $2 a mile. I mean, that's what we should be getting anyway, and that's what you should be striving for if you're not already. Do everything you can on any of these apps, not just Lyft. Uber, UberEats, Grubhub, DoorDash, Spark. It doesn't matter. Try to maximize your money. Just don't grab stuff and run it out the door just because you need to make some money to feed your family. I understand what you're going to say. I got to make some money. But if you just follow me or any of the other gig tubers out here, it'll help you greatly and you'll learn and you'll see. So what I'm trying to say is there's no reason to work some of these apps if there's not extra incentives, because I haven't done DoorDash in a while, and that's because they don't offer much. And when they do, it's +$2, +$3. The place is so saturated, you barely get any orders in the hour and a half that they run it. So I usually steer clear of that because it's just not advantageous for me. I'm not going to go out there and work because the tips are non-existent. And okay, fine, I'm complaining about the tips, yes, a little bit, but if they don't help bridge the gap for us to make a decent wage, then I'm not going to do it. Anyhow, this was my experience with Lyft this past weekend. It was pretty good, and the weekend before too. I should post the totals, but maybe I'll add a screenshot here when I go to edit this. You'll have to wait and see, or you won't have to wait and see. You'll see because I'll either edit it in or not. And you'll see the last 2 weekends, I did pretty good. Probably $1,700 in 2 weekends. And you see this weekend was 16 hours. The previous was not too far from that either. It was either the same or maybe 20 hours, we'll call it. That's pretty good side hustle money. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's better than DoorDash. At least for me out here, it's better than Instacart. For those apps, I have to multi-app my behind off to make $25-30 an hour, and sometimes it's hectic. So there you go. We had a pretty good couple of weekends with Lyft. And just like that, it's the end of today's video. I sure hope you enjoyed today's content about my experience with Lyft the last 2 weekends out here in the Valley. It was very advantageous, but the learning part of this is try to just do it when they have bonus quests, the Uber or Lyft, if you're just doing rideshare. Out here, Instacart doesn't offer enough bonus quests, in my opinion. They do it sporadically, and so I don't work that app as much as maybe I would like to because there's some decent offers and stuff. But if you have an extra incentive to get out there and turn it on, I will. So DoorDash doesn't have anything, and that's all I can say about those apps is just try to maximize the money that you can make while you're out there. That's all I'm trying to get across. Anyhow, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. That is going to be in a few days. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that one yet. Probably some DeliverThat or I'm not sure. Actually, I'll have to think about that. But thanks for joining me. And you know what I say. Please, I'm begging you, don't go and get some Chinese food from China. Bring it back on a slow boat and then deliver it to some knucklehead here, let's say in Summerlin, in a $5 million home for no tip. Just don't do it.